vacating bands, and the cost cannot be borne by simply one community. That is clear. Well-designed systems can allow, those that can afford more to help the other communities to make the more efficient use of spectrum. There are new technologies coming up from broadcasting. The broadcasting community cannot be left alone to bear the cost of this change, but at the same time it is important that all communities realise the value of advancing in technology and advising an efficient economic use of spectrum. Thank you.
Mr. Mike Bean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may, I just would like to go back to one point which was picked up on by Commissioner Cruz, and that was also mentioned by Minister Ross Perrin, which is in relation to an item that was discussed in yesterday's workshop, second workshop, which was in the area of consistency and certainty. There were 4 areas that we discussed yesterday, which we believed, with regards to the digital dividend, merited a strong degree of certainty. They were certainty with regards to setting a minimum spectrum efficiency target for new broadcasting networks launched after the 1st of January 2012, certainty in ensuring that all new digital TV receivers are future-proofed, certainty in ensuring that all Member States put in place proper review procedures to verify that all licensees use the spectrum that's allocated to them effectively, and finally, certainty with regards to the migration of all remaining broadcasting networks using first-generation transmission standards to new compression standards, or most modern compression standards such as MPEG-4. My point in relation to certainty and consistency in relation to that certainty is that each of those items on their own would provide a huge degree of certainty to stakeholders. But the effect of certainty in all 4 of those areas together provides a multiplier effect, and that can only be beneficial to EU citizens and consumers. I just wanted to just make that point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and we now make a little break, a short break in the debate from the floor. I'm very delighted to welcome the Federal Minister for Telecommunication in Belgium, Mr. Vincent van Quickenborne. Mr. van Quickenborne, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I understand that I should use my national language. We've been talking about languages in the room. Thank you, Sarah, at the back. As you know, Belgium speaks 3 official languages. Dutch is what I normally speak, but that might make life complicated for the interpreters, French and German, but I'll speak French, as it seems to be the one best covered. Madam Vice President, Madam Cruz, President in Office, Mr. Rowe, ladies and gentlemen, where I work in Brussels, I've hung up about 15 black and white photos of people with an entrepreneurial spirit, ranging from Keynes to Madonna. And one is a certain Mr. Steve Jobs, who says, in English, I'm afraid, because he doesn't speak French,
Distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Alors, chers collègues,
I'd like to ask you, what sort of Europe do we want? Do we want to innovate? Do we want to be at the leading edge of development? Do we want in Europe to show the way forward, or do we want to follow in the footsteps of our Asian and American colleagues? The Americans are producing digital content en masse, and the Asians are omnipresent in the equipment industry. If Europe wants to remain a leader, then we will have to undertake technological innovation. That's how we will relaunch our economy, revitalize our economy. That's how we will create jobs. And innovation will enable us to create the world of tomorrow. So our work on the spectrum shouldn't be confined to a technical debate. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we will lose the innovation battle. The spectrum it should be a tool that will allow us to create a European digital world for future generations. Men and women's lives are at stake here. Futures are at stake here. This is what we have to debate on. Yesterday evening, it was a great pleasure for me to have a meeting with the Commissioner and with the MEP Catherine Trautmann. And yesterday she said that the young people of today will become the teachers of the older generation. In other words, technology is going to make the difference. And it's true. Last week I was visiting a school in Belgium that works only with smart boards and smartphones. And the pupils were very enthusiastic to do their homework, to do their maths exercises, or to learn a foreign language. There was one pupil absent because of an accident, but was following his lessons with a digital camera at a distance. So that is the future, colleagues. And that is why we need the spectrum and a lot of it. The effective use of the spectrum is a necessary precondition to create digital Europe. We have to create the single digital market so that future generations will be connected everywhere and all the time. We have to take steps now to make that possible. I'm from Kortrijk in Belgium, which is close to the French border. Now, to call from Kortrijk to Lille, which is very close by, costs 10 times more than to call from Lille in the north of France to Nice, which is 1,000 kilometers away. We can only change this situation if we create a single digital market. And I would like to take the opportunity to call for a maximum rate for roaming data. We have laid down maxima for roaming calls and SMSs, but we are holding back progress on use of mobile for data transmission. Unless we have European prices and European competition, we won't have a strong Europe in this field. Colleagues, the European Parliament has a major role to play in creating this digital Europe, particularly now that we are working on the basis of the Lisbon Treaty. We need common rules for spectrum, but also we need a single regulatory framework for intellectual property. When it comes to copyright, businesses of the 21st century are still working on the basis of 20th century rules and regulations for copyright. The digital agenda is therefore an important step in this process of innovation, and I would like to take this opportunity to warmly thank the Spanish Secretary of State and the Spanish Presidency for all the efforts that they have put into this. And I would also like to explicitly thank the Vice President of the Commission, Mrs. Neelie Kroes, for her ambitious